White sea bass fishing has broken wide open in Southern California in the Channel Islands. We're getting signals all over the place, however, but tremendous white sea bass fishing. The Endeavor out of Ventura Sportfishing, 108 white sea bass. It doesn't get any better. That was 2-day limits, and the limit here in SoCal right now is 3 white sea bass per angler per day. The Seabiscuit had 12 white sea bass. Great day on the Gray Light with 13 white sea bass. And how about the Coral Sea on a 3/4 day boat out of Santa Barbara? 26 guys, 78 white sea bass. The Thunderbird out of Davies Lock in Newport Beach has a little bit of a go around going on here this morning on the white sea bass at San Clemente Island. The explosion, the white sea bass bite that we've been waiting for, is taking place right now.
I guess that is my blood.
That's a proud daddy right there.
That is Tina, and she is the daughter of the captain of the GoldenEye 2000 Quan. She hasn't been able to spend any time on the boat or out with her father for a long time. So this very first day back, she hooks a monster halibut and lands it. I think she's got it in her blood, just like her father. Tremendous halibut fishing going on up there in the San Francisco Bay on the GoldenEye 2000. It has been limits of fish on a regular basis, and scenes like this are all too common. Way to go, Tina and Quan.
Wow!
That's a good one.
I told you.
Where you learn that from, son?
Oh!
He said, I guess that is my blood.
That's a proud daddy right there.
Bracamontes was a great family man and loved to fish, so he combined those two things to make some memorable adventures in the past. He also loved to fish in the Western Outdoor News Shootout in the Channel Islands. This year, he had scheduled the trip on board the Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing. Sadly, he passed away in March. So his kids said, "Is this the end or the beginning?" And they worked hard and put together a trip on the Island Spirit for that very same tournament to honor their father. Anna, Joaquin, and cousin Selena all got their kids and grandkids together, and they had an amazing day out on the water. In fact, you've got to think that Peter was smiling down on them because Anna won the entire tournament with a 19-pound halibut, and Joaquin came in second with a 17-pound halibut. It was a memorable day, and you have to think that Peter was smiling down.
There are 4 ways that I like to hook my baits, and I'm going to show you the first method, which would be the shoulder hook. Okay? On a circle hook, by keeping the hook upside down like this, what we're doing with circle hooks, and I know it's a challenge because the term match the hatch has been used for years on matching the size of the hook to the size of the bait. But this bluefin fishery has changed all that. We're fishing smaller hooks now. Okay? So it's a little bit more difficult to hook these baits with a smaller circle hook. But if we keep in mind that what we're trying to accomplish here is rather than pushing and forcing the hook through like we could with a J hook, with a circle we're actually threading the hook into the bait. So we hold the hook upside down like this and it keeps the barb ready to go for us because again, by threading the hook into the bait, it just makes it that much easier on the bait itself. You're not mashing it and causing it any further injury. So what we like to do, get that barb into the bait, and again, we're just threading it through, like so. And that's the shoulder hook method.
Hey, good Saturday morning, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California on this foggy morning. Man, I'll tell you, it's a little chilly here, but it's anything but chilly in sport fishing. It's good to be alive in 2024 on July 20th in Southern California because there is so much going on. We'll check out the long-range scene as the Independence makes their way down on an 8-day trip. We'll look at San Diego down there on the Kelp patties. We're seeing really good yellowtail action. More Dorados starting to push in within range of Point Loma. Some good fishing off of Ensenada. It's been really, really good. The big bluefin tuna up there near San Clemente Island, Santa Barbara Island, San Nicolas Island. What's that doing? Did it bite? And again, we're going to be watching some tremendous white sea bass fishing, off the hook sea bass fishing. We have been telling you all year long that they keep seeing a lot of fish, and one of these days it's going to blow up. We're starting to get the consistency now. It's really, really good, and there's a lot more going on. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, my God. I really need that. Got in about 1:30 this morning, working the OC Fair. A lot of great people out there, and so many Friedman Adventures family members came by to say hello at Baja Blues. I'll be there for the entire fair. It was great to see you. Thank you so very much. If you don't mind, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it when you do that. Also, if you could share these videos with a friend, that is also something that really helps us so very much. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel and make sure you tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. Also on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Man, is it great to be with you all because we've got so much to talk about. Let's go south of the border right now and talk about Ensenada, where the yellowtail bite has been fantastic. Not only in the local area, you can find bird schools of yellowtail in there, but offshore, the kelps are holding. The kelps are starting to become more productive, and there's some good yellowtail action out there. There's occasional shots of Dorado out there. There's been some Marlin wandering around. It's really looking good for Ensenada, and it has been for quite some time. And I'm not trying to skip over the bluefin tuna. There's a lot of BFT around there, and man, I'll tell you, trolling the Mad Mac lures has been a super effective way to come up with those bluefin tuna. Most of that fish out of Ensenada seems to be that 18 to 40 pound bluefin tuna, but every once in a while you'll get one over 100 pounds. And let us not skip over really great calico and sandbass fishing, flurries of barracuda and big bonito. Man, the variety in Ensenada is fantastic right now. There are so many great operators down there. I hesitate to mention them to you. If I can help you, just send me a text at 657-227-6459, and I'll get you in the right direction with somebody who'll catch you a lot of fish. Really great fishing going on in Ensenada. Down the Baja coast goes the Spirit, or pardon me, the Spirit of Adventure. I'll get to them in a minute. Goes the Independence, and Brian Pfeiffer is running the boat. They are looking around for yellowfin tuna, yellowtail, and they are starting to find it. And wahoo fishing has been fantastic on these 8-day trips. We'll be following the Independence and keep you in touch with all the very latest. But those 8-day trips have been very, very productive down there, about 400 or 500 miles down the Baja coast. Really great on the yellowtail, as we mentioned. Some Dorado in there, some great yellowfin tuna fishing, some grouper also in the mix, and the wahoo bite has also been really, really good. So long-range fishing looking good here in July of 24. Also, let's get you up now and talk about bluefin tuna. Let's talk about the big fish. They're more in range of LA Orange County-based boats. As we mentioned, San Clemente Island and up there near San Nicolas Island and Santa Barbara Island. That fish is biting a little bit, but it is really, really tough. So you guys who focus solely on the big bluefin tuna, in other words, you walk on your boat, let's say you have a charter and you say, hey, Cap, kelp patty yellows are great, and you know, those Dorado, they're a lot of fun, but we just want big bluefin tuna. That's been tough if you're focused solely on that, but hopefully that light switch will go on. It is not for a lack of fish. There is a tremendous volume of bluefin tuna in the aforementioned areas. I mean, a lot of fish all over that zone, but they just have been reluctant to bite. The nighttime bite's been tough. There's been some daytime kite fishing that's been pretty good for some of the boys, like the Royal Polaris. Several other boats have found some really good fishing, but overall, that bite a little bit slower. Still, the fish are spectacular. 100 to 200 plus pound bluefin tuna blowout on a kite bait. And man, that is something you'll never, ever forget if you get to witness that. And hopefully at night, they're going to start biting here again very, very soon. Once again, the smaller profile jigs seem to have been working best of all, like a 350 gram Daiwa SK lure, the HD lures from West Coast Jiggers, to name a couple. Those have been very, very effective. But, you know, if you get some wind and weather, you're going to want to go up to 400 or 500 grams. In other words, bring that variety of jigs with you so you are ready to go. And the Eddy Bomb, I mean, that has been really good. I mean, as good as any other jig. I think the Eddy Bomb, from what I gather from talking to so many people and so many captains, I think the Eddy Bomb has been great. 200-pound
bite leaders, 100-pound spectra. You're ready to rock and roll. Really, really good stuff. Tax problems. Tim Marquez is on the Spirit of Adventure right now. He'll help you out. He's been doing taxes for 35 years. You should give him a call right now. And also, if you have heating and or air conditioning needs, you want to call John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. John's a great guy. Give him a call here today. All right, let's talk about this kelp patty situation because it's pretty good. I mentioned that there's some marlin starting to zoom around. The Balboa Angling Club weighed in their first marlin of 2024 here in Southern California. So that is a signal that warm water species are starting to move up here. The marlin bite hopefully will be really, really good. It's just starting to happen. First fish weighed in. That's exciting stuff. Down around the kelps, you'll see some marlin once in a while. You know, the condor hooked one the other day. We had that footage for you. That was exciting stuff. So there's a lot of that going on. Guys that are heading down and fishing those kelps doing great. Pacific Queen on a 3-day trip, 106 yellowtail, 5 dorado, 44 bluefin tuna. As I mentioned, some of that smaller grade BFT is down that way. Tim Marquez from A Best Income Tax was on a 4-day trip on board the Spirit of Adventure, and they had a similar kind of score, catching those kelp patty yellowtail and also some dorado and also some bluefin tuna. There's a nice mix and great variety on the kelps, and that will only get better as the season moves along. I presume we're going to see more dorado. We may even see some yellowfin tuna. Remember, Sean Morgan on board the Wild and Sack, a yacht about a week ago, had 25 yellowfin tuna. What was it? I can't remember. I think it was 25. And he was fishing with no bait and throwing jigs. And I thought he was straight lining to Dana Wharf, but I just talked to him. He's in Ensenada. So he's trying to keep a lid on where that went down. But he, I think, is going to go out and search around here again very, very soon. We never saw any follow-up to that. In other words, we never saw a catch after Sean made his catch, but we'll be watching that very, very closely. Pegasus, limits of kelp patty yellowtail, really, really excellent fishing. And these yellows have been really nice fish. I mean, there's been fish in the 15 to 20 pound class. You have some 8-pounders rolling around there, but there's been mostly bigger grade yellows on the kelps. Not the rats, not the smaller fish, nice fish. And they're biting 25-pound fluorocarbon. Sometimes they're biting 60-pound. It really gets hectic on some of these trips, and they're tough fish. They'll run you back into the kelp. So fish as heavy as you can with as big a hook as you can. And when you walk on board, you're going to talk to your crew member, and they are going to tell you what went on the day before. Now, this fishing is also starting to pick up in the 1-day range. Really good fishing. I should say full-day range. 1-day overnight trips are starting to get a piece of this, and a good piece of it. But boats that leave in the morning come back that very same afternoon, like the San Diego. San Diego was scouring yesterday, working so hard out of Seaforth Sport Fishing. You know, these guys, it takes a lot of hard work, and you can't zig when you should have zagged on those full-day trips. I don't know how they make as many great catches as they do. And it was one sweep of the binos, the binoculars, where they saw evidence of fish, and they rolled up on it. It changed their entire day. San Diego yesterday, 79 on the yellowtail, 9 bluefin tuna, while the Grande with 35 guys had 55 yellowtail and 2 dorado. More flatheads starting to push in there. We don't see huge numbers yet, but this is just a natural progression of things as we move deeper into summer. We'll probably see more of that, and then into the fall when we have our best weather months here. I think you're going to see some really outstanding fishing. We've got 2 great trips you should join us on. We're going to be on the Apollo in September and the Amigo out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro in October. Apollo is going to be out of Seaforth in San Diego. Really great stuff. So some excellent offshore fishing going on and starting to get closer and closer to Point Loma. That is always really, really good. We're taking a look now at the islands, and the Mission Bell continues with great fishing at the Coronado Islands. Several boats have been there, and they're all having great fishing, including many private boaters who've been checking in with me. Nice, big, great fishing on these yellowtail. And the yellows, they've been full speed on the sardine. The iron's been working really good, a surface iron. Watching those forkies blow out on that surface iron. There's nothing like that. Sometimes you're fishing 25 pound. Sometimes you're able to get a bite on 40, even 50 pounds. Sometimes even heavier than that. Mission Bell, 16 guys after they had 100+ yellows the other day. 52 yellowtail, 22 calico bass. Anybody who wants to catch a bass, can probably do that too, but everybody's focused on this tremendous yellowtail action. Several other boats in on it yesterday. Also, so some really good stuff at San Clemente Island. The Thunderbird had a white sea bass bite going on early this morning, and it looked really, really good. They were catching sea bass. Now, at Clemente, that early morning bite for all the boats that are fishing there, and there's several of them. The Amigo's one of them, the Freedom, the Thunderbird, Fury, all those boys are fishing dropper loop with live squid in the early morning hours. And I mean early, like 2, 3 in the morning. Whenever they drop anchor, better get your butt up out of the bunk and out on deck and ready to fish, because there's been some really good hits in the morning. And sometimes you get flashed once or twice, and that's it. So that bite normally is over around 7 o'clock, or if the sea lions get all over you and screw it all up. But there's been some really good catching. In fact, the Thunderbird, as we mentioned, into a white sea bass bite this morning, had 43 yellowtail yesterday after a couple days of slow fishing. So, I mean, there is some inconsistency here. It's not an everyday thing where you're slamming the yellows. The Amigo yesterday, last time I checked with them, Captain Mark Paisano had 10 smaller yellowtail. They didn't get flashed in the morning, but later on in the day, what happens is you go out with the sardines, fly line sardines, and you pick off some yellows. And there's been some really good calico bass fishing, and there's the sheep's head and whitefish and that kind of a thing also. At Catalina Island, as we work our way geographically up to an explosion that is occurring in the Channel Islands, good bass fishing going on at Catalina Island for most of the guys. Occasional yellowtail, there's bonita, there's occasional barracuda, not wide open, but picking at a variety of different fish. And that is always fun when you have that variety. The El Patron has room on Monday. Very light load, and they are a definite go. That's the beauty of the El Patron out of Long Beach Sport Fishing. Ultra limited load trips. 22 anglers headed to Catalina Island on Monday, and they've got plenty of room for you. I love fishing on the El Patron. You should get on board. And you can do it by going to www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Let's get to the Channel Islands, where the white sea bass bite is as good as you could possibly imagine it. And who's up at the top again? None other than Tucker McCombs on the Endeavor with 108 big, fat white sea bass. It was an incredible trip on board the Endeavor. 2-day limits on there. The limit right now is 3 white sea bass per day, so they could have 6 fish per angler, and they did just that. Awesome fishing going on. Dropper loop with live squid, and man, it was as good as you could possibly want it. You get up over 100 white sea bass on a single trip, and that is something you'll never ever forget. You have been blessed beyond belief when you are experiencing a bite like that. I don't have to tell all you guys who are on the Endeavor who are watching right now, thank you so much for putting together such a great trip for me to report on, because man, I can't wipe the smile off my face. That is such a great trip. Seabiscuit with 12 white sea bass. The Aloha Spirit had 4 white sea bass. Limits of Sheep's Head. Coral Sea, they're a 3/4 day boat out of Santa Barbara. 26 guys, 78 on the white sea bass. Tremendous score. Wide open fishing. And the gray light, 13 white sea bass. I don't know how I can get any better than that. Remember, dropper loop fishing, 40-pound. I mean, you're going to fish 60-pound. I bet somebody did. You saw Tucker McComb the other day throw a surface iron at night and then bounce a giant big white sea bass. That guy is on it. And so is Ventura Sport Fishing, where the Island Spirit had great local rock fishing yesterday, putting some really good rock fish in the sacks for everybody. And of course, he's got his eyes open for sea bass and yellows and halibut and everything else. Kind of a combo trip most times on the Island Spirit. You should fish with them. Plenty of room on Sunday, and that's kids fish free. Paid adult, 12 and under, goes for free. And also on Monday, they've got plenty of room. It's going to be a very light load. Should be a lot of fun. I wonder if Doug Tilk is going to go up there on Monday. He's been talking about it. We'll see. And man, that is just tremendous fishing. Wide open as it could possibly get. Up there in the San Francisco Bay area, well, Mackie is up there. Mackie, what are you doing up there? And Mackie said, I'm catching limits of halibut every single day. It's really, really good. He's out of Berkeley Marina on a boat called the Golden Eye 2000, fishing just outside of the San Francisco Bay. And Tina, who is the daughter of Quan, well, we had that on the lead-in. You got to experience that. She hasn't been on the boat for a long time and got to spend some precious hours with her father. But more than that, she caught up, well, not more than that, but kind of right up there with it. She caught a big halibut, did a great job on it. Dad was right there on deck with her. That is some great stuff. Golden Eye 2000, Berkeley Marina, really doing good. Huck Finn up there, the Huck Finn 2. No, the Huck Finn with 11 anglers maybe, with 22 on the striped bass. I almost said sand bass, and 13 halibut. So great fishing up there in the San Francisco Bay Area. All right, on the local scene, we've got some decent calico bass. It seems like it's dropping off a little bit for the San Diego Bay boats, but they're still getting some good calico bass fishing. And then, you know, every once in a while they'll catch a white sea bass or a yellowtail, sometimes a little bit better than that up around Dana, similar kind of situation going on there where we're picking at the bass and that kind of thing. Up here, the Victory had another great day out of Long Beach sport fishing. 31 guys, 150 sand bass, 8 barracuda. They've been up there at limits or near limits of sand bass on a regular basis here recently. Lighter line will always result in more bass, whether it's sand bass or calico bass. Dropping down to 15-pound fluorocarbon will get you a bite like nothing else besides, of course, choosing a good hot bait. Up there in Redondo, there's been some good twilight fishing. I think that's going to be pretty good. I know Nick Ramirez, Patreon member, great guy, great angler, said there's going to be live squid on the Redondo special on their twilight trip, and he's going to be on it. He foresees great bass fishing, and I do too. I think Nick is right on. Nick will be watching you on that trip. Hopefully you are going to continue to crank on it. Up there in the Channel Islands, as we mentioned, mostly rockfish locally, but a little bit of sand bass. I mean, heck, that was a 3/4 day boat up there out of Santa Barbara with all those white sea bass. Things are popping, and you never know what's going to happen next. The sea bass bite is on. It seems like it's gaining momentum. It obviously is, but it seems like it's getting some consistency now. Be interesting to see what happens this weekend as things go along really, really well. It looks fantastic to me. Don't forget Island Spirit 805-676-3474. El Patron, www.longbeachsportfishing.org. A couple of great choices in the Southern California surf. More and more Corvina biting in here, yellowfin, croaker, and I'm talking from the border down there in San Diego all the way up to Ventura. Some good halibut fishing in the surf also. We've seen some really good stuff. And don't forget big fish bait and tackle right here in the beautiful city of Seal Beach. You can walk there in 10 minutes. It's right here. And man, they got all the bait you need and all the tackle you need. And they're giving away a free custom, beautiful surf fishing rod every single month. This month for the biggest spot fin croaker. You're going to want to take advantage of that, man. I'll tell you, all you got to do is walk in there, buy the ruler, and then you're in for the rest of the year, every single month. They'll give you all the details, how to upload your photo or video to their Instagram page. And then next month, it'll be another species which will be announced. But you definitely want to get in on that. If you're a surf fisherman, you're definitely going to want to do that. Really great stuff going on. Let me tell you, there's some good surf fishing and spot fin croaker, which are going to be taken on bait 99% of the time, also biting pretty well. I don't know what to tell you, but it is super great fishing going on right now. Those sea bass explosions are incredible, and the kelp patty fishing, really good right now. I love the story of Tina and Quan up there in San Francisco. Daughter catching that big halibut, dad right there to witness it. That's some beautiful stuff. And 100+ white sea bass. You have got to be kidding me. We'll keep you in touch with all the very latest today. Thanks again for joining us. And as always, I hope to see you really, really soon. Have a great weekend, my friend.